Hey, today, JT and I are actually going to talk about two things that we have changed our mind on recently. Now, you don't see this a lot from creators generally. I guess it's our human nature to kind of dig in on a stance that we have rather than acknowledge that over time, our views can change based on new information, but also new experiences. So today we're bringing you two things, both JT and myself, from the strength training realm that we've changed our mind on recently. Hope you dig it. Also, if you have a question about it or you have a comment on one of our positions and you want us to dig deeper, fire away in the Spotify or the YouTube comments and we'll talk about that on a future episode. While you're here, there's a thing that happens whereby you probably listen to our show all the time and you appreciate it because, you know, people tell us often that they appreciate the show, but you might not have subscribed to it and you might not follow it on Spotify and you might not have pushed all those buttons. Do us this big favor. Go and push all those buttons now. It supports the show and it takes you 5 seconds to do. Do it. Let's get into the episode.
Things that we have changed our mind on. Two big things. It would seem relatively impossible for me to change my mind on anything.
Flabbergasted.
It has happened. Discombobulated. Last 6 months, I had a big change, big mental shift, and it's benefited me.
Wow.
Imagine.
And now it's about to benefit the world.
All y'all. Well, you know, you're probably already there. You didn't have to change your mind.
JT, we've been telling you this for years.
You pretty much. So let's start there because this has been, I wouldn't even say it's a discovery, but it's definitely something that I accepted it as a change and now I have benefited. Whereas before I was I wouldn't even say I was in denial. I was just like, no, I'm not going to do that. And I was forced to do it. And I was like, God damn it, it works. What am I talking about, folks? I am talking about a weight belt and knee sleeves. You see many people in the world of powerlifting, strongman, lifting in general. I have for a long time very much fought against wearing a weight belt and wearing knee sleeves because I felt it was unnecessary. I felt like, it's actually an accessory. I didn't think it was very as useful as people were making out. Yeah. And actually, I thought people were almost keeping themselves weak in a way by relying on equipment. Because when you do jiu-jitsu, you can't be like, hang on, bro, I just got to tighten up the belt. Oh, hang on, pull on my knee sleeves. Actually, there was a judo guy I used to roll with who had bad knees. He used to roll in ultra 3-ply, knee sleeves.
Powerlifting style knee sleeves.
Powerlifting knee sleeves.
They'd probably be quite good if you got bung knees.
Oh, amazing. You couldn't.
Better than Anaconda. There's your marketing slogan. It's better.
Better, 100%. He could barely bend his knees. Yeah. It was so strict.
Try knee bar that. Can't knee bar that.
No, you can't even squat that. Really. But it's a funny thing. It happened to me last year. I wasn't going for a max, but Dan was pushing me and he's like, mate, you've trained here for a couple months and I'd really like you to wear a belt when you squat. And I'm like, no, f that. I'm not into that. He's like, no, just try it. And he just not overly bossy, but just chipping away. And then one day I was just like, why not? And he's like, yes. He was so happy. He was like, yeah. And he's like, also knee sleeves. I was like, what? I just said yes to the belt. Slow down, honey. And he was like, no, go on, chuck them on. I got some. He rifled around and he pulled out some knee sleeves. And they weren't super tight. Some of those mothers are you have to use straps to pull them onto your legs.
Really?
Yeah. It's wild. Guys will use the lifting straps and they'll loop them through to pull on the knee sleeves because they're so tight. They're like springs.
Yeah.
So anyway, I popped on the knee sleeves and I popped on the belt. And yeah, it made the two things that surprised me were the feedback. That's partly what's going on with your knee. It kind of tells you where your knee is, where you might not know unless you're getting, hamstring to calf type thing. Mm-hmm. And the belt makes you work harder because you have to actually, when you brace, actively push against the belt and you have to keep that going the whole time. And I bruised my abs and my own plates.
Wow.
I got home and I was like, what the fuck? It's like jiu-jitsu. I was like, what's this weird bruising? I was like, it's from the belt. And so what was interesting about that was by bracing that much harder with the belt, you can generate more force.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that feedback, it's hard to generate that. And so this is what made me change my mind about it. My squat has gone up a fair bit. And the interesting thing is now when I don't wear knee sleeves or a belt, my raw squat is higher.
Right.
I am stronger as a result.
Made you stronger.
It's enabled me to touch higher loads so that when I'm not even
Big
using
loads,
it,
huh?
I'm,
Monstrous loads. Tell me more about that.
get all the loads in your face. No, it's not. They're not compared to most powerlifters. I'm not strong. There is plenty of women who lift way more weight than me.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. I'm happy for them. But I guess the
13-year-old Chinese.
no,
Olympic
actually,
hopefuls.
no, very, very young, fit women living in Queensland who just love powerlifting.
Wow.
But it's one of those things. Shout out Riley Lifting. She's phenomenal. I think she can squat like 280 kilos.
Wow.
Phenomenal. And her body weight is much less than mine.
Yeah.
The thing that's really hit me is that it will improve your lifting without gear.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that wearing the weight belt, wearing the knee sleeves has unlocked a new level for me. It's a tool.
That's cool.
I'm not relying on it. I don't do my warm-ups with it, but when I hit those top sets, I'll go there.
It makes sense, man. Yeah, that interesting. I think I've probably, it's just come to me as you're saying that, I've come around, I've changed my thinking on accessories as well.
Right.
Because I used to have more of a purist mentality, which was like, no, you're using that as a crutch because you can't do X.
Yes.
And there is some truth to that. But it is also true that sometimes making something a little bit easier for yourself or allowing yourself to like go a bit heavier is also really beneficial.
Yeah.
Right? It's not so clear cut.
Yeah.
It's funny how as we get older, we come around to this because, yeah, I think I used to be a lot more militant in my thinking.
Yeah, and look, I have not become any less militant in my thinking, but
I think
you can
you're softening slowly.
No, well, I mean,
You're married now.
it was. I am. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, the Ring of Power. Shout out to my wife, Ola Tomlinson. Oh,
Big shout out. Lady friend.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I would like to. My goal is always try to help other people, and through my experience, if you haven't done it, then it's hard for you to comment. But having spent the last 6 months working on it, it's like, yeah, it made a difference to me.
Yeah.
And if at this stage in my life, I'm 41, if I can be getting incrementally stronger at this later stage in my lifting career, it doesn't matter what age you are, you could too.
Yeah.
So if you've kind of getting to that upper end and you haven't had a play around with a weight belt or some knee sleeves, with some instruction or guidance, and that's the kind of key detail, I think it can help. Ladies and gentlemen, you may know me as a partial and unbiased, objective voice of truth. Or maybe you just know me as a very biased, opinionated person. But I can tell you without equivalency that the best online platform for learning BJJ is Submeta. Why do I say this? I was on the internet, I saw people doing K-guard stuff. And I was like, that looks a lot like some Lachlan Giles action. How do I know? I trained with Lockie and I also use Submeta. And on Submeta, Lockie will break down all the ins and outs of the K-guard. I already know that stuff because I learned it from the source and then I backed it up with my online learning. Now, there's not just K-guard on there. Submeta is the most comprehensive online platform for you to learn jiu-jitsu, whether you're just starting out as a white belt or you're an expert competitor at black belt. There's something in there for everyone and it's structured in a way that enables you to remember it. So when you go to submeta.io and use the code Bulletproof16, for every first-time user, you will get $16 off when you sign up. And I cannot recommend it enough. It's the best.
You would hear us reference our program and the users of our programs in the podcast a lot. And something that's super cool coming up this year is some new programs that JT and I have in the works. Now, one of these programs is going to be headed up by one of the current elites of jiu-jitsu. We're not going to spill the beans on who, but you're going to find out in due course. I've actually been following a bit more of a bodybuilding style program with the guys here at the gym, and we're going to be dropping this at some point this year. So you'll be able to get on like a 4-day-a-week upper body strength program focused on mass gain. And then we've also got additions that we're going to make to the standards program and our mobility offerings. So I wanted to get you guys excited about that. We are always adding new stuff to the platform. If you want to get involved and start using it, you will have access to all of these programs as they become released. All you got to do is go to the App Store, download the Bulletproof for BJJ app, and you get a 2-week free trial. Don't got to pay nothing. Start training, get coached by us, and get frothy on all the sick programs coming your way. See you there.
Had a funny experience the other day. I got real thirsty and I didn't know why. And ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't because I was consuming large amounts of alcohol at my wedding. It was because I hadn't had any Sodi. It's crazy. I'm so used to having Sodi every single day. And it wasn't until I didn't have it, I was absolutely parched. I'm telling you right now, as a sponsor of today's show, Sodi hooks us up. Both Joey and I, we stay hydrated because we have the optimum level of sodium, potassium, and magnesium. It absolutely blows away any kind of Gatorade, Hydrolyte, any of that nonsense. If you want to make sure that you're hydrated to optimize your performance for BJJ, you need Sodi. Go to Sodi, SODI.com.au and use the code Bulletproof15 to get 15% off. Get yourself hydrated today.
Yeah, and you did your time without it. That's the important
my
thing.
whole career.
Yeah, for folks to hear is that like you weren't a
start
20-year-old chucking a belt on trying to go heavy.
No, but that said, if you look at it as a tool, that's not something you necessarily, because there's also a thing called a no squat. It was pioneered by a famous Olympic lifter, which was no belt, no sleeves, no suit. Anyway, no shoes, like no weightlifting shoes.
Right.
And the guy is like ass to grass. He's like a 67 kilo lifter with like 200 kilos on his back. And that was a demonstration of like, look how strong I am.
Yeah.
But if you look at the Chinese Olympic weightlifters, they wear weight belts. They wear knee sleeves. They do wear lifting shoes. They're all just tools.
Yeah.
And if you can find a way for the tool to help you, it's golden.
I like that.
How about you, Joe? Have you you've come around to a new idea or a new understanding?
Yeah, so I think I might have mentioned last time we did this that like I'd come around to like machines and isolation training in recent years, but I've actually come around to a further kind of point on that. So like I've always kind of hung shit on bodybuilding style training.
Sure.
Right?
Bro training, bro splits.
Yeah, like for a bunch of reasons, but like, in summary, like you like, and this is based on my years of experience coaching people who have come from the classic gym environment where that is the prevailing approach for dudes. And then they come to a gym like here, like Jungle Botany, and they just can't move.
And there's no real machines here. Like
No, there's none.
There's a bench, there's a box.
Yeah.
But it's mainly free weights, body weight, movement work.
Yeah. And so what the observation has always been is that there are glaring weaknesses in like their mobility, of course, but moreover, their coordination is a mess.
Yes.
And I would argue that if you're following more of like a compound approach, free weights, squatting, lunging, pressing, like more of what people would call functional, you actually are developing more coordination. Like they are basic movement patterns that do apply better to how you move.
To life.
Yeah. So I've kind of shunned it, for a lot of those reasons. In any case, I've been doing a bit of it over the last few months.
Yes.
Had a break. The group broke for Christmas and stuff. So I jumped on some bodybuilding style stuff. I was like, I'm just going to do this program. Was training at a gym near my house. And now with the guys, I'm like, hey, let's just do like bodybuilding phase for the next few months. Nice. And it's great. But the other benefit, the thing that I've actually come to really appreciate about it is that it's there's no intimidation in approaching the gym to do a bodybuilding workout.
Right.
There is intimidation when you've got 5x3 Zercher squats today.
Oh, max.
Or you're doing 6x2 deadlifts. You're like, it's going to be heavy. I got to go try and go a couple kilos heavier than last week.
Performance pressure.
What's the warm-up's going to take me 15 minutes? Man, back was a bit weird, felt a bit weird after that. There's none of that with the bodybuilding because you're not pushing heavy weight. You're not doing, sometimes you might be doing some big compounds, but you're generally not. The reps are like 8 to 12 kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, you just go in and you're like, I'll just do 3 reps on a light dumbbell and then straight into the working sets.
Yeah, sure.
And you're just chasing the pump and it's really simple.
It's more fun, I guess, in that way.
Yeah. Yeah. it has its own brutality in chasing the kind of that muscular damage where it's like burning and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But just that, like, you can go in and rip into your workout and get it done in like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Versus you got a big strength day.
It takes longer. You
It's
got to
20
rest
minutes.
longer.
Yeah. Yeah, the rest, all that, right? So I've actually enjoyed just that simplicity and like, oh, this is easy to rip into. Even if I was tired today,
Yes.
trained jits last night, I was like, oh, it's all right. It's just back and biceps today.
Yeah.
You know,
Good times.
pull-ups was about as hard as it got, and it was like just 3 sets of those. Giddy up.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you can appreciate that there's just a degree of there's no performance, anxiety, pressure, none of that. It's just do the thing, do it to wherever you're at today. And even if you're fatigued, that's still that bit of stimulation, it's going to be enough.
Yeah,
Like that's good enough.
still get a pump.
That's it. And really, interestingly enough, over all the years and all the scientific papers, like the idea that you have to go to failure is not, they've shown that that's not necessarily the case. Like, even though there is ways in which you can do that, it's good, but just getting the muscles to a certain level, that's like a certain level of fatigue and a certain bit of load. Like, it's shown that like to work at a bit of a reduced intensity that enables you to work more frequently is how you grow muscle. That is the best.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And I think that we often make the mistake of trying to make everything a competition. Everything has got to be intense, where actually, you know, if the goal is to build muscle and working at about 60, 70%, if that'll get you there, then that's nice.
Yeah. And you know, where I think a benefit in that lies for, say, you guys listening, sometimes there's a lot of hurdles for you to get over to get to the gym. And if one of those, if by doing a program like that, like our Swole program,
Yes.
if choosing that program means that like it removes one hurdle, then that's increased your success of going to the gym.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, yeah, all for it.
Yeah, I think definitely with many things, we often create a bit of a story in our mind about how hard a given thing might be. But if you just are able to get past that or reduce the resistance there, you do it. You go, oh, it was fine. It worked out pretty good. Actually, I'm stoked I did that, and how much different the day would have been if you didn't.
Yeah.
So that's great. And I guess I am more actively looking, not so much to prove myself wrong now, but I am looking for things that maybe I'd written off before, and maybe it's like, maybe I'll try that. Like, I haven't done that thing ever. Maybe I try that, and maybe that thing is helpful, whatever that might be. So I'm looking for those things. Not specifically performance-enhancing drugs, Joe. Don't look at me like that. That's not what I'm talking about. So I think it's very easy.
Give it time, guys. He's coming around. He's coming around.
He's got the weight belt. He's got the knee sleeves.
It's the waiting game.
It's only natural.
Yeah.
As soon as you see me wrapping up my wrists and doing bench press,
I
you're
sent a
like,
text to Big Dan after
Game
this.
over.
You're doing well, mate. Keep it up.
chip away. You guys are colluding. There it is. Something we changed our mind on. And look, it might be something similar for you. You've said to yourself for a long time, no, I don't want to do that. Give it a try. Try it out for a little while, and it can bring surprises which can be beneficial. So, yeah, good things. There it is, folks.